according to the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, on June 15, 2012, the Secretary of Homeland Security announced that certain people who came to the United States as children and meet several guidelines may request consideration of deferred action for a period of 2 years subject to removal. And they are subject to renewal. They are also eligible for work authorization. Deferred action is the use of prosecutorial discretion to defer removal action against an individual for a certain period of time. Deferred action does not provide lawful status. So this is the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services announcement on their website. Deferred action of childhood arrivals, of course, was not implemented by President Obama because of his benevolence. Rather, it took over a decade organizing by youth to have Congress even listen to their struggle. And so, known as the DREAM Act, this is an acronym. The DREAM Act is an acronym for Development, Relief, and Education for Alien Minors. It was a legislative proposal for a multi-phase process for qualifying undocumented minors in the United States, granting conditional residency and, upon meeting further qualifications, permanent residency. Now, the bill was first introduced in the Senate on August 1st, 2001, by United States Senators Dick Durbin and Orrin Hatch, and has since been reintroduced several times, but has failed to pass. There is a new DREAM Act that's on the tables today. But resistance efforts by the Dreamers themselves finally got the Obama administration to do something about their unique status. And it wasn't easy. They had to sit in his offices, especially during the last political campaign, presidential campaign. The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, known as DACA. We understand what DACA and the controversy over DACA is, why it's so important. But DACA allowed some individuals who entered the country as minors and had either entered or remained in the country illegally to receive a renewable 2-year period of deferred action for deportation, and it opened up them to be eligible for a work permit. And as of 2017, approximately 800,000 individuals, they are referred to as Dreamers after the DREAM Act bill, they were enrolled in this program. And it made them vulnerable because they had to put in their place of residence, in order to get a Social Security card. They are vulnerable because the federal government knows their whereabouts. They made themselves vulnerable for this policy. And the policy was established by the Obama administration, not because Obama cared about Mexicans, because he didn't. But Obama always catered to the Republican right. But the Obama administration was going to be forced by these Dreamers to do something about their condition. And so the policy of DACA was established by Obama in June 2012, and it's going to be rescinded by the Trump administration in September of this last month of September. Let's listen to an interview last May with a DACA organizer.
We turn now to 21-year-old Karime Andujar, who came to the United States from the Dominican Republic with her family at the age of 4. She's in her 3rd year studying chemical engineering at Rutgers University, where she's been an outspoken advocate for undocumented students. Andujar is the president of Undocu Rutgers and the recipient of DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, under President Obama. She was waiting for renewal of her status when she received a letter from Federal Immigration Customs Enforcement, or ICE, ordering her to report for a check-in on Tuesday morning. Immigrant rights advocates say Andujar may now face deportation. Karime Andujar, welcome to Democracy Now!
Thank you.
Tell us about your situation when you received this notice to report.
Mm-hmm. So I received the notice about 7 to 8 weeks ago, and the notice said that I had to report for an interview with a deportation officer at the federal ICE building in Newark.
And you've been very active in the at Rutgers University among the undocumented students. Talk about your work there.
My advocacy first started by starting Rutgers' first student organization for undocumented students. I started the organization with the objective of providing resources as well as support to undocumented students to improve the graduation rates and as well as retention rates for undocumented students because they're currently very low for higher education.
And what is your fear of deportation? Have you seen other students, either at Rutgers or students that you know who were initially granted DACA, who then have subsequently been deported?
Yes, there was a national case a couple of weeks ago of a DACA recipient who was actually either out to lunch or out to dinner with his girlfriend. And then ICE officials started asking him questions. That very same day, he was later deported to Mexico. So that's a direct violation of the regulations set forth by DACA because DACA is supposed to be deportation protection for early childhood arrivals.
And tell us a little bit about your story. You came from the Dominican Republic when you were 4 years old, and you lived and studied where, in New Jersey, all of your life?
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about what it's been like being here undocumented for so many years.
Well, first and foremost, I consider America my home, without a doubt. I've been living in the same house for 15 to 16 years, so undoubtedly, I do consider this my home. Growing up undocumented was challenging because there's a lot of fear and there's also a lot of uncertainty, and it also poses a lot of challenges trying to obtain a higher education degree. So some of those challenges include not being able to get federal financial aid or any form of financial aid, as well as it does pose, it does make it more difficult to also apply for like loans. So financially it's a lot of strain.
Well, during a February news conference, President Trump was asked if he planned to continue or end the DACA program. This was his response.
We're going to show great heart. DACA is a very, very difficult subject for me, I will tell you. To me, it's one of the most difficult subjects I have because you have these incredible kids, in many cases, not in all cases. In some of the cases, they're having DACA and they're gang members and they're drug dealers too. But you have some absolutely incredible kids. I would say mostly. They were brought here in such a way. It's a very, very tough subject. We are going to deal with DACA with heart. I have to deal with a lot of politicians, don't forget. And I have to convince them that what I'm saying is right. And I appreciate your understanding on that.
Your reaction to President Trump's statements and also to his general approach so far to the immigration issue in the country?
Well, this statement comes after a lot of dehumanizing rhetoric, mainly targeting not only immigrants in general, but also specifically undocumented immigrants. So it came as a bit of surprise just because perhaps he didn't realize when he was first speaking that when he speaks about undocumented people, he's also speaking about DACA recipients, because it's not only a DACA recipient versus non-DACA recipient, because, you know, non-DACA recipients are our parents. They're also they're in the same struggle as us, where our struggle is one and the same.
Now, at Rutgers, the university officials have declared the university a safe space for undocumented students. There's a sort of an equivalent to the sanctuary cities that have developed around the country. Your response to how the university has dealt with your case, and I know the faculty union has been very supportive and is mobilizing people to appear with you Tuesday morning at the federal building there.
So I have received incredible support, as you said, from the faculty union as well as various professors at the university. I have heard that some students have been reaching out to Barchi, which is the president of the university, to get him to voice his support for not only myself but also other undocumented students in my situation. I have not heard feedback from that, but I I do know that the Senate approved a motion in support of undocumented students. So as of right now, what we have seen from the administration is a lot of emails by support from emails. So we receive a lot of emails stating their support for undocumented students, but this is a case where now is the time for them to prove and demonstrate their support, not only in emails, but when an actual case arises, are they willing to kind of go against the national rhetoric and support an undocumented student?
So you'll be going to your ICE check-in Tuesday morning, tomorrow morning at 8:30 in Newark, New Jersey. You'll be accompanied by who, and what do you expect to happen?
Well, my interview is at 9. I do expect to get there early, so around 8:30. So because of the support that I have been receiving, as I said, not only from my university, but also communities and local officials, I don't think that they are going to deport or detain me. Because several senators as well as congresspeople have been in contact with ICE, letting them know that there is...
U.S. Senator Cory Booker is supporting you?
Yes, U.S. Senator Cory Booker as well as Senator Bob Menendez. I have also been in contact with them, and they have been supporting me, as well as Congressman Pallone and Congressman Pascrell. So because of the support that I have received, the tremendous amount of support that I have received, I don't think that they'll be deporting or detaining me.
Well, best of luck to you in your hearing, and we'll continue to follow the work of the undocumented Rutgers as students, as well as the DACA students across the nation in their fight to assure that they are able to stay in the country legally. Thanks very much for being with us.
Okay, Ms. Andujar is one of the lucky ones who's getting all this support. But students, you should know that California, Jerry Brown, likewise Los Angeles, and our university, the Cal State University system, and especially here at Dominguez Hills, is providing sanctuary for DACA students, and we have a center that was created specifically to deal with DACA students. Now, for this week, you have been asked to read an article on Muslims and immigration.